Welcome back, everyone. We've had a very exciting start to the day with Watu and Craig fighting it out. Eventually, in a normal chess position where Craig was an extra piece up, but Watu had huge initiative, and eventually the guy settled to a draw with repetition. But very interesting game indeed. So, yeah, we have our second match now of the day. Of course, there's 6 matches for the day, and it is between Henry and Daniel. And welcome, Henry and Daniel.
Hey, Colin. I don't know.
Hey, Calvin.
Welcome,
Good morning.
guys. And of course, I've got my partner in crime again with me, Ruben Salimo. So, welcome, Ruben. And
Thank you.
yeah, so we are ready for our second match. I think I should just update the title of the show, but I'll do that in during the match. So I think let's set up the board. This the position that you see was something that we analyzed in the previous game, but let's just reset the time. It's 15 minutes with a 15-second increment. I'm gonna press shuffle twice because sometimes it just repacks the board. So 1 and 2. Okay, and the organizer is gonna do the shuffling for us today. So let's see. He's gonna do it a couple of times. And there we have it. Have you guys had this position before? It seems very close to what I've had in maybe another game. But are both players happy?
Sure.
Okay, as long as you guys haven't played it before, I'm happy. So it looks pretty normal to a very close to a normal chess position. But yeah, I'm also happy. So yeah, just an update on the scores. So with the last draw that was played between Craig and Watu, Craig is now on 3.5 out of 4. Watu is on 1 out of 4. And okay, so in order of the points, it's Craig on 3.5 out of 4. Henry is on 2.5 out of 3. So that means if Henry wins this one, he can catch up to the lead. Watu is on 1 out of 4, and Daniel is on 0 out of 3. So Daniel also is ready to jump onto the scoreboard. So it's bound to be an interesting match here. So yeah. Yeah, I think I'm ready for action. Guys, are you ready? If you are ready, then you can just mute yourselves, take off the headphones and so on, and start whenever you are ready. Okay, so Ruben, this looks very close to a normal chess position.
Yes, that's what I was thinking.
So it should be just the dragon bishop on b1 should be on c1 and the knight on b1. Then would have been normal position. But okay, Henry starts off with his e4 move.
Yeah.
I think
Makes
maybe
sense, right?
I don't know if you checked out the last CKC Rapid tournament. Okay, you were actually commentating, I think, on 1 or 2.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you checked out Henry with his knight c3. Eventually, he inspired me also to play knight c3. But in this position, you can't go knight c3.
Yeah. No, you used it a lot, right?
Yeah.
Like,
He
likes original
in fact,
positions.
I also used it, but yeah, I got influenced by him as well. But yeah, it's an interesting idea. So we see as a Sicilian-like position, Barrish going for his traditional Khan setup.
He had stopped playing the Khan, right?
Yeah, I think in the last essay closed, he's been playing a bit more e5 against e4. I haven't seen him playing a lot of Khans, yes. And Henry going c3 to open up his dragon bishop. Looks like a type of elephant, I suppose.
Yeah. The Khan is this irritating aspect to it in the sense that it restricts your opponent's pieces. Like if that pawn had remained on d7, it's very difficult to know which piece to develop where.
Yeah, the pawns are covering a lot of squares. D5 is on the board. It's if you didn't know it's the PC30 tournament, you would think that it's a normal game, chess game right now.
Yeah.
I just want to see if I can update the title here quick, Ruben.
Is he contemplating taking with the queen?
Perhaps.
Because in normal chess, normally you take with the pawn because the bishop will be on c8.
It's still possible to take with the queen, and then you try to go b6 and bishop b7. I've played those type of positions, but yeah, it's preferable if your bishop can still go to g4. So I guess the normal reaction here should be to go pawn takes.
Yeah, but then the bishop is not on c8, so
Yeah.
he's got 2 dragon bishops, all on dark squares.
Yeah, that's the beauty of this one. You can do that. I think with the MRL tournament that Lorenzo has hosted over the years,
Yeah.
there was only a certain limited amount of positions.
You see something here? Bishop b5 check was the problem. Why didn't he do it immediately?
Bishop b5 check.
Dragon bishop to b5 check.
Oh, instead
How
of pawn
does
takes d5.
Huh?
Instead of pawn
Yeah,
takes
before.
d5. Ooh. Sure. Yeah, maybe. Maybe that was even way better. King e7 would have been played.
Banji had seen it. Yeah, you'd not have been able to castle.
Yes, Banji saw it, yeah. So, I mean, but it's typical, especially this early in the game. We've seen in the Four Queens tournament as well, a check like that, and then you block with the one. I think it was Khadija that blocked with the one dragon bishop, and then when once captured, she realized that she couldn't recapture with the other dragon bishop f8. So these dragon slips happen.
That's why Black is taking time to recapture. Because if he recaptures, you check him, then the king has to move.
Yeah, still the issue.
Yeah.
So you see these type of things, Ruben. Okay, even though it's close to a normal chess game, the position. This is what I was talking about in this format, where I think you should use a bit more time in the opening.
Yes.
Otherwise
you're just lost.
Yeah, so early. So I think it's important to take your time. And Barrish maybe just going through the motion over there, and maybe even Henry did that because I mean, like you said, the check was available there.
Yeah.
And it's not like you can play it in a nice gambit style with a knight recapturing on e6 or something.
No.
You're gonna have to play fe if you stop the check or something.
Just fade the damage.
Or can you play? Oh, you can't even play dragon to c7 and then recapture on e6 because still, yeah, maybe dragon c7, stopping the check, take on e6, dragon takes e6, and if check, then you can block dragon d7 and just say, okay, I'm a pawn down, but
it's not too much damage.
Yeah.
Wow.
So just to the viewers out there, like I said, it is 6 matches left for the day, or what first match of the day was played. This is match 2. Dragon f to d6 was played, stopping the check, and but after this match we're going to have an hour break, an early lunch break, and after the break we will continue at 12 o'clock with the rest of the matches, the other 4 matches. Oops. So pawn takes e6 played, f takes e6, and okay, Daniel's structure is ruined. It's not pretty, but maybe he can utilize the f file. Maybe that is the silver lining here for him. But the light squares have been damaged around the black king.
Yeah. Yeah. And now if you look at Henry's dragon bishop on b1, it's going to make it very difficult along that long diagonal.
Yeah. So Banji says d5 was a blunder. Compensation, perhaps. Okay, there could be some compensation, but yeah, it's not pretty. He says f file and the dragon cannon. Yes, the dragon cannon on b8 and d6. Looks very dangerous.
Yeah, but for as long as it's protected by the knight.
Yeah, queen to a4 check is played. And Henry perhaps saying that he wants to go into an endgame.
Yeah, again, you have this problem that you can't block.
Yeah.
If you put the queen, he brings the dragon bishop.
Bungie says pawn to b5, but can't you just take dragon takes b5? Check.
Exactly.
Queen to d7 played.
Oh, you can't play bishop, dragon bishop to b5 because of the bishop on d6.
Yeah, but then queen takes. So
That's
if
what he wanted.
so exchanges happen on d7. Welcome to Bearded Zaid again. Zaid is asking, is this variant available to play online? It's not. There's not a website you can play it on yet, but we do have a link that you can use to play on. So I will post a link at the start of the next. After the break, I'll post a link. So the next match we will make the link available. Bungie has it. Thanks so much, Bungie, for posting it over there. We have posted it in the past, but there you have
It would
it.
be nice one day if we can cover some of the viewers playing against each other.
That would be cool, yes. That would be cool. So hopefully one day if things uh develop a bit further, we can maybe have an open Paradigm Chess 30 tournament and get
Yeah,
everybody involved.
correct. Yeah, Dan is so hesitant.
Yeah. But okay, he's had a rough tournament and he's had a rough start to this game as well. You know, chess is so hard on you. I mean, if you haven't tasted victory yet, it becomes almost like you never tasted it before.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's more like a battle against himself right now. So knight f6 and knight c to b3 played. And we're seeing now an early end game. Yeah, okay, it's an end game, but it's just almost all the pieces are still on the board. Just the queens are
Yeah,
off.
yeah. The
So
queenless game.
so still a lot of pieces. So
Yeah, this game kind of reminds me a lot of when you were young and you would go out to play and things would not be going well. And you know, like this particular game, you're going to lose it, but you still have to play it to the end. Maybe
yeah.
in that day you play maybe 50 games, but this will not be one of those which goes well.
Yeah, that's torture. But yeah, thanks Bungie for helping out there. I hope Bearded Zaid utilizes that link, guys. The way you use the any disk, you can, if you are sitting next to your opponent in front of the computer screen, you don't need to use any app besides the link. But if you want to play against someone that's on the other side of the world, then you need to, or at least the other side of town, you open up the board with that link, and then you have to download the okay, this is one of the apps. I'm sure there's lots of apps out there, but you can download any disk. It's quick, it's easy, very quick and easy, guys. It's light as well. So just download it and then you connect on any disk with your friend, and it's like a remote access device for the other computer, and then you both play on the same board. So one opens up the link, and then the other one, both of you open up any disk, and the other player connects to the host of the link, and then you both use that AnyDesk app to play together on person A's board. So Bungie also says this is the middle game without queens. The king on d7 is going to start to feel uncomfortable soon. Maybe a long castle coming up for white. Bungie suggests rook to d1.
No, castle long might be better.
Castle's long, yeah, looks very natural to me. Bishop, dragon to f4. Check is a possibility, but just king b1, I guess.
It is going to regret having moved that bishop there.
Yeah, with the open d file. So yeah, guys, and if you want to know more, there's you can go onto YouTube and onto my channel, Calvin Class and Chess, and there's a couple of shows there of Paradigm Chess 30 as well. There's an introductory one with Lorenzo, showing the 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 moves and everything with Craig as well. And then there's a couple of shows. Henry showing one of his games, and Dan also showing one of his games. So you can go onto YouTube. There's lots of other interesting stuff as well. And of course, you can go onto Facebook and like the Paradigm Chess 30 page. So lots of ways to learn more about this variant. All of these top players already know about it. They've played in some tournaments already. So it's getting bigger. It's getting more exciting. Don't miss out. Bungie says Longcastle, also good suggestion. Buba ABC says Black might get himself in trouble. Yep, of course. I think he's already a bit in trouble with the king on d7. Dragon bishops are also bumping in each other. Eh?
Exactly. That's what I'm going to say, which something that Henry cleverly avoided by putting his bishop on c2. They are not duplicating the same effort, right?
Yeah.
And the knight on c8 is very difficult to suggest how to and where to put it. B6 looks like the only way, or maybe e7. And even if you do, still the rooks are not connected. So this is very difficult in chess, because also the other thing is your opponent is not standing still.
Yes. And that e6 pawn is so loose.
Yeah. Once he castles, it becomes a target. But then again, there's another thing to say about Bungie's move to play rook d1. But I don't think that's really the problem. g3 first, exactly. Yeah. You don't want him to unbundle those pieces with the tempo.
Yeah. So g3, nice prophylaxis over there, stopping dragon f4 potentially.
By playing e7, one of the moves he rules out is now e5 can never be played because of knight f5 check.
Yes, forking the king and the dragon bishop.
Yeah.
But g3 also opens up possibilities perhaps for dragon bishop to h3. I don't know. That e6 pawn.
Correct, yeah. Or even more irritating is dragon bishop to g2. Just hitting that b7.
It's a nice diagonal for that dragon.
Of course, the dragon bishop protects the reverse, right?
Yeah, that's correct. So he's covering the b7 pawn right now. Bungie suggests black should play knight b6 followed by dragon to d7. Okay, that makes sense, yeah.
But then, what if dragon to h3 immediately? Like now, after this?
I think that's a huge threat. A huge problem for black. Black has played g6. Why has he done that? Does he want to play e5? I guess he wants to play e5.
That's what he wants. I would castle long.
Yeah, castle long and maybe still give your dragon on f1 an option. h3, g2, sometimes c4, depending on what happens.
Yeah, I can imagine how he's thinking. I know it's slow, but he's probably he's got a lot of weaknesses to cover.
Yeah, it's difficult. Like you said, after knight b6, even bishop h3, and then there's no e5. So yeah, in the chat as well, Buba ABC says g6 a bit slow, but the natural moves also don't seem to work so easily.
And his time is chomping into that.
But okay, after knight b6, then dragon to d7 would cover e6 though. So perhaps that natural route could have been better instead of g6. g6 does look a bit off.
Oh, but you know what the problem is? Every time white castles, the rook can then always be taken for the dragon bishops, any one of those two, if they're in the same line.
Yeah. So yeah, long castle is gonna be nice for white. But yeah, black's pieces are just not in the game. Like, white is now basically fully developed besides the rooks. Black is a long way from developing. Bungie suggesting some play on the c file, knight b6, dragon d7, rook c8, knight c4. Beautiful idea, just time is so precious right now. And Daniel goes for e5.
Do you know, I'm so tempted to just go long castling.
Ooh, yeah. That would be in the spirit of what we want to see. Knight f3 played though, very sober by Henry. Nothing fancy, just applying pressure on the e5 pawn. Saying the more you push the pawn, the weaker the pawns get.
It becomes.
And yeah, this is the second game between these two guys. So who is last? It is Daniel and Watu who's playing. The last two matches for them, and Henry and Craig will be playing in the other two. So it will basically be the two leaders against the two bottom two on the bottom of the log. So it will be okay. Still depends on what this result will be, but I'm anticipating that will be the case. A big fight for first and a big fight for third and fourth.
How many does Henry have?
Henry is currently on 2.5 out of 3.
Okay.
So he's dropped half a point, but if he converts this advantage, he will then join the lead.
Oh, so Craig actually needed to win that game.
Yeah, if Craig won that one, he would have been very close to securing the tournament. Of course, he needs to play 2 games against Henry though. But then the aggregate or the lead would be so nice.
Okay.
And Daniel, of course, he is also desperate to get onto the scoreboard. Watu is on 1 out of 4. So if Daniel can get anything from this game, then he can also try to surpass Watu and take that third spot.
Dan is showing up so much time.
Yeah.
Hey, Greywood, welcome.
Welcome, Greywood, was it? Happy New Year, and yeah, we are busy with our second match of the day, and after this we will have an hour break, and then 4 matches will commence after that. So in the first match we had Watu and Craig playing a very exciting game. You guys can check it out on Twitch as well. It is there. With the game ending up in a repetition eventually with a normal chess position on the board.
Yeah. When you were young, Calvin, who did you watch? Like, which players did you watch? Like, local players, did you go and watch at tournaments?
Local players.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think I started playing like seriously a bit late. I grew up, of course, in Somerset East, which meant that I had to travel about an hour and a half, hour 45 minutes for a weekend tournament in Port Elizabeth. So I started playing basically at start of high school, and so I had to watch a bit of EP top players, and then I can tell you also when I came to Cape Town, but in the Eastern Province, I was pretty isolated, Ruben, because I wasn't so enlightened about everyone. When I got there, I know when I started playing junior chess, my older brother was also close to the end of his playing. He also played for Eastern Province, I think 1 year, board 1 under 20, something like that. But the main junior guys was Alexander Kromot, and Warwick Erlang was also right up there. Guys to be feared. Yes, Warwick was coming from PE. Warwick had this opening that some of the players from my school was afraid of. A lot of players. It was the Latvian gambit, but a very interesting way he played it. So just imagine this: E4, E5, Knight F3, F5, and then I think the move is Knight takes E5. And then instead, I think the theoretical move is Queen F6 or something like that. But Warwick used to play after Knight takes E5, Knight C6. And then after Knight C6, Queen H5 check, G6, Knight takes G6, H takes G6, Queen takes H8. And play it in gambit style like that. So he used to mix it up like that. Alexander Kromot.
The way he plays now.
Yeah. And Alexander Kromot was also known for interesting stuff. I think I saw a game between him and his dad where he played F4, crazy game, move 1. And some guys also worried about him playing the they called it the, I don't know if it's a correct name, the Dutch Benoni. So d4, c5, d5, f5.
Yeah.
So some weird openings from the Eastern Province. But okay, these two guys were one of were the top juniors that I knew. There was another guy called, I think, Velgemoed, if I'm not mistaken. But like I said,
Okay.
I wasn't so like the growing up. There wasn't so many databases and stuff like that. I remember seeing some monthly letters, chess letters, Eastern Province letters, or Chessa letters, I think, with rating lists and so on. And of course, from the senior side, guys like Yanni Safir was feared. Chris Safir was
Yeah.
also there,
Yanni,
and of
yes,
course,
of
Johan
course.
Kromhout, I think, was one of the big bosses over there. And growing up a bit, I also had a few battles with Jacques Ophoff, and even quite a few battles with Sven Stokloser. And of course, one of my main rivals as well was Freddie Odendaal. Freddie was also still till this day one of the main Eastern Province guys. So a lot of competition amongst ourselves. I feel like the Eastern Province guys were a bit underrated, still are, because they don't play as many rated
Yes,
events. But
yeah.
yeah, and then when I came to Cape Town, things just opened up a lot of legendary players that you had to keep an eye on. But I'll talk about that just in a moment. Let's just see what happens here. Some exchanges on e4
Banj was suggesting Rook E1,
instead of taking.
but instead of taking, yeah. I like that idea.
Yeah, just keeping the pressure
But
in.
I think the problem for black is whatever combinations come out of this is just going to be behind.
Yeah. So can you just say, okay, Rook H1 now, and just say you can take on F2 if you want to?
Yeah, I think you can, because whatever is going to happen, that king in this position, that king being in the center is wrong.
Yeah. So Rook H1, Knight takes F2. I want to play a Rook D2. I don't want to give anything.
Yeah, just rook D2 and
Knight
wait for
G,
him.
Knight G4,
Then take
H3.
on
Remember, the knight and the dragon is protecting on E5.
H3.
H3 and then take on E5, and everything is open.
And look at how soft B7 still is.
Yeah.
And the rooks aren't still developed.
So yeah, it's tough for Daniel. I feel for him. Daniel, of course, one of the top players now in Cape Town, of course, the current SA champion. But yeah, Ruben, coming back when I came to Cape Town, a lot of top players, of course. Yeah. It was nice joining the Western Province League for the first time. It was amazing seeing that. Rook to
Which one was your
HE1 was
first
on the
year?
board. So again, my first year in Cape Town.
Which one was your first league year?
Okay, so I came to Cape Town. I must just calculate correctly now. I'm trying to figure out when I finished school. It was so long ago. So I think it was 2006.
Oh, okay. About the same year I came. I started playing, yeah.
I think 2006, yeah. You also play in the league in that year?
No, I didn't. I
Okay.
stayed out. I couldn't play yet. I started playing in the league 2010, I think. 2009, 2010.
Okay. Okay, makes sense, yeah. So, but I mean, it was nice seeing guys like, of course, Kenny Solomon on board one, and Donovan, and these huge teams like Mitchell Splain was there. Okay, I was playing for
Yeah.
Steinitz,
Kenny was playing for
Stellenbosch. Yeah, like it was very exciting. The West Province League is one of the most fun things
That
to
line
play
you
in.
spoke about is what happened, by the way.
Aha,
It-
H3 on the board, and yeah,
I mean,
E5 is dropping.
that is doing it because it's the best move, but he knows it's also like kind of there's nothing better, and he's not making these moves with pleasure.
Yeah. Yeah,
You
it's just
can
in the
see him
motion.
regretting as he does it, you know?
There's nothing you can do about it, but you have to do it. So
Yeah.
yeah.
You know, it's like when you take a pawn, a gambit pawn, and you know the storm is coming afterwards.
Yeah.
And you just have to ride. But this one, yeah, it's not his choice. H3 came quickly, so you go knight f6 now.
Daniel approaching 3 minutes here. So he mixes it up and he goes knight to c4. He's trying at least something to imbalance
but
the position.
I don't understand this because
Take on
going-
g4, take a knight on
Yes.
d2, and the 2 knights are powerful.
Have you ever analyzed a game or let's say a game where things don't make sense? Whether you turn on the engine and they don't make sense. Like let's say positions from the Botvinnik system of the Slav, for instance.
Uh-huh.
You know, like that one where they go h6, g5,
Yeah.
knight takes. Yeah. Have you ever seen the number of exchange sacrifices that are in there that are normal?
Yeah, no, I get you. As it happens in chess, actually. It happens where you get these funky lines and you can't explain it.
You cannot explain it. It's like paradigm sometimes approaches those scenarios
Yeah.
where you don't even have to think about an exchange sacrifice.
Yes.
In fact, if you don't do it, you're going to be in trouble.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, no, that definitely links up to this game here. Definitely.
Because now, if you look at material, okay, dragon bishop for dragon bishop, rook for rook, but those 2 knights for the rook.
2 knights. The 2 knights can be powerful, but right now they need to get squares though. Maybe they can blockade on e4. Knight takes e5. Is that available right now?
I was thinking he's got king f8, and now it's a pin.
Knight takes e5 is played. King f8. Rook f1 check. You're out of the pin.
Oh, he's got knight d7 check.
But dragon takes d7.
Or you can just use the knights to support one another.
You can do that as well. But the king might end up in trouble after rook f1 check.
Doesn't matter after rook f1 check, actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't ignore.
And remember, the rook is actually still protected.
Yeah.
It's actually not even a pin.
Yeah.
So yeah, just getting back to that topic, Ruben, I actually want to ask you, who are the guys that you scouted for? I was mentioning Kenny, Donovan van den Heever, Boa, of course, was also, Lyndon Boa was also, when I joined Steinitz, I think Boa was playing board 1 at the time and it was in good form. Always doing great on board 1. I also had the privilege of playing next to Dion Solomons as well in my Steinitz career. So some legends in their own right as well. And of course, Henry was also coming up. I mean, when I came to Cape Town, Henry pretty soon won the essay closed. So yeah, a lot of guys to look up to. Who did you notice when you came this side?
When I came, so first of all, when I was young, I had been reading about these guys in magazines. I got some magazines which had Kenny, Kodri, Nick van der Nat, Watu, and these were like far-fetched. These were like, it's almost like for me, I was reading about Ivanchuk in a magazine, right?
Yeah.
So I came here and I couldn't play because I used to work a lot. And I was always looking for this one-day tournament. So one day there was a tournament in the mountains somewhere. And I looked for the organizers, and one of the people I ran into was Lyndon Boer.
Uh-huh.
And Lyndon came and fetched me, and he took me to this tournament somewhere in the mountains, and we played chess there. And I won the tournament.
Nice.
I won
And London
Yeah.
was very happy with that, I suppose.
I
Just
was very happy with that, and he took me back. And then he said, "Whenever there's a tournament and you want to go, let me know."
nice.
So he was very supportive.
Nice.
And
Just sorry, Ruben. Just by the way, the viewers were suggesting here Dragon D5. Yes, I was gonna say that E5 was hanging bungee, and the Rosemoon suggested G5. G5 was played. Well spotted, Rosemoon. So yeah. And then after that, what happened, Ruben?
oh no, no, just like started playing more. So he said to me, "Why didn't you play the league?"
Hmm.
And I looked for a club to play with. I couldn't find one, so I got a couple of friends,
Yeah.
and that's how we started
Started your own.
African. Yeah, yeah.
Cool. So there you have it, guys. That's how the legend started.
Yeah,
That's
but you know, like when I got to the tournaments, I got to see Kenny, I got to see what wasn't there yet.
yeah.
But Donovan, and there was a guy, what's his name? Bernard Klein.
Aha. Yes. Mr. Klein.
Whenever there was Bernard and Donovan and
It's tough
Kenny, there was
competition. It's not easy, guys, to get past.
there was always disputes also. It was funny.
Yeah, yeah. No, Mr. Klein also plays for my club MRL nowadays, and I know even in my younger years, there's a lot of competition you had to get past besides the big guns. So that's what made it fun here in Cape Town.
Yeah.
Dragon to D4 is what is threatened. That is what Bungie is saying. Dragon D4 is a huge threat.
Quite interesting. The king setup that you have there is dangerous because there can be a lot of king traps, like a mating
Yeah,
setup.
that pawn on G5 is just making it very claustrophobic there for the king.
It's quite interesting that the dragon bishop is protecting the knight where it is. But
Yes,
if it goes to d4, it's still protecting the knight.
yes. Very tricky creature. So Henry's just taking his time. We've seen him do this. I think the juniors should take note of this because the juniors tend to just, when you're building your position, you're getting closer to winning and getting better and better and better on the board. Sometimes you can make your clock also play like that. You just want to play faster and faster and faster. But Henry, every once in a while, when he gets these winning positions, you might ask yourself, why doesn't he go Dragon D4? But he's always making sure when he has the time to do so and not give
Yeah,
his
yeah.
opponent any unnecessary glimpses of hope.
He's fun to analyze with. He sees a lot. You know, when you're a spectator in chess, what you see is just a result of a lot of thoughts that would have gone through a person's mind.
Yeah.
And like this move, we're not even thinking about it.
Knight D to C4, yeah, just gaining another tempo, reinforcing the knight on E5. Bungie had a different idea, dragging to D4, knight to F3, and knight to G4. That was his
Yeah,
setup, going for
but
some mating
but if you look at
setup.
the idea that he has, it's very direct, right?
Yeah. Dragon to
Henry's
C5. So this could be tempting for Henry to play dragon to d4 and just swap off into this two knights versus rooks, but I don't think it's good to do that immediately, especially with the rook hanging on e1.
they're not so coordinated again,
Yeah,
going to that kind of ending. What I do feel is that b5 is a potential threat also, right?
yes. b4, Rosemoon says b4. I was also glancing at b4 just to push the dragon. Henry goes in for dragon d4. Maybe he's evaluated that the two knights are fine. Okay, the knight is gonna be pinned on e5. The pawn is supporting it, so the rook can move if he wants to. So I guess Henry is just trying to go into this technical position, say, okay, I'm going to slowly convert this. The pin is not gonna do anything. Daniel flinching a bit here.
If you analyze Henry's games, you'll find out that he's very comfortable with knights.
Aha.
He's very comfortable with knights. So he is very confident, I think, in descending, that the knights will be much stronger than the rooks. Especially like now, they struggle for squares, the rooks, the open farms.
Yeah. And this is cool to see. So we're gonna have to see how Henry converts this two knights and a pawn versus the two rooks. Like you said, the two black rooks don't have much to do. Rook e4. Maybe white will get his king closer to d4, put the king on d3 or something eventually. And then the knights are gonna start wiggling around, going for better squares. Maybe one knight on f6, the other one on e5. I don't know. But
You see what Daniel did now?
pawn to b5.
So in endings, when you have got the worst endings, you should avoid advancing pawns,
Aha.
like what he's doing now. And the reason for that is they become weak.
Yes.
They're easy to collect. And we'll just go again, knight b3 to c5.
Another outpost available over there.
Exactly, yeah. And this will probably force you to push the pawn further, which weakens again those pawns.
Yeah.
It keeps going.
So yeah,
Kasparov used to say like a knight on the 6th rank, for instance, is worth more than a rook. With two of those.
But from what was in the game, I don't know if, yeah, okay, this is pretty torturous still. I was gonna say that Daniel did a good job to at least stay in the game. He's still forcing his opponent to make moves though, so
Yeah. Not over.
yeah, so I am but impressed with Daniel, his tenacity.
Open files are being closed.
Yeah. Two knights have other gatekeepers here for the open files. Pawn to h6. Black wants to gain some freedom. Rosemoon says a knight in f5 is worth more than a wife, isn't it? Sure. The knight on f5, yeah, that is usually a beautiful knight. I don't know.
I can't even comment back on that because I got a glance.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't
I
think.
still got engaged, by the way.
Yeah.
Well done.
Thanks, Ruben. Thanks, Ruben. I was gonna say I don't want to comment on that one. I still need to get to that stage, so I've had enough knights on f5 already. Of course, not in this position. Yes, Rosemoon. So yeah, so the king is also inching closer. Daniel is trying to get some space there for his own king so he doesn't feel tied in. Daniel is down to 45 seconds. Henry is on 4 minutes 56 seconds. So it's gonna take a lot.
I was saying about when you're the one with the inferior ending, don't advance pawns.
Yeah.
Okay. So one of the things about players is that when they have nothing to do, they feel that advancing pawns is the less like it's not committal. For some reason, mentally, it seems like not a grave mistake.
Yeah.
And he keeps doing it. Now, Henry had this choice of playing rook h4 check, king g7, rook g4.
Eating the g6 pawn.
But Henry is making it like this.
He's going very technical. Yeah, he's trying to slow the game down. The rook f4, trying to swap off rooks.
Yeah, but I don't believe in this one. But I see
the d pawn is gonna march eventually.
I
think the d pawn is gonna march.
And the king is far off.
Yeah, but that rook h4 and rook g4 idea was interesting, trying to tie down black a bit more.
Tie down black, yeah. And with knights, it's very confusing because you can always add more.
Yeah. So we see a swap. Takes on f4, g takes f4. The two knights. Is it going to be a nightmare for black? Black goes king h5, but the king can't go forward.
Go anywhere after this.
I'm not sure.
Afraid knight f7 check, I think.
Okay. Knight f7 check, yeah. King d3, pawn to a4, and Daniel keeps on marching. Perhaps he wants to penetrate. If white gets careless and he pushes the d pawn and he goes ahead with the king, maybe. But I mean, the d pawn is going to run so fast. I don't know if black is hoping to snatch a pawn on the second rank. Maybe b4, a3 he's hoping for, and then if white plays b3, maybe rook c8 and rook c3 check and take on b3, and so black needs to just try some tricks.
That sounds so long.
Yeah. Trying to find something here for black. What is white gonna play next? King to e4. Is that next?
Yeah, king e4, d5,
White could play a3 even and just
or even knight c6.
knight c6, yes. And then bring in the other knight.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything is winning right now. Knight f7 played.
But I like the idea of just keeping that king not functioning. Can you imagine if no, it doesn't work. I was thinking if he didn't have any piece, he would just give up the rook and it would be stalemate.
Yeah.
But
Okay, so rook f8 played. I think knight fe5, Ruben, and then you just push the d pawn. Yeah, the knights are covering all the squares.
yeah,
Should be
the whole
over now.
idea of knight f7 was to remove the
Ooh,
rook.
and a fork on the board. So the rook drops. King h4, knight takes g6. So it's over. Let's get the players.
Yeah, this was bound to happen. Right?
Guys, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting game. Tough one, Daniel. Well done, Henry. So Henry, you now join the lead there with Craig on 3.5 out of 4. Tough one for you, Daniel. What's your thoughts on the game? Maybe from you, Daniel, first. What you? It seemed like you were struggling. That check on b5 you missed.
B5, yeah. Yeah, I didn't see the check on B5. At least I didn't see that I could block it.
Yeah.
Which basically led to an unplanned pawn sacrifice for move 3, which isn't ideal.
Yeah.
After that, it was downhill from there again.
But you put up a good fight. I mean, I think a lot of people would have just cracked.
I drew the game out for a while, but it was only going one way.
And then Henry, that you perhaps miss that you could play dragon b5 check earlier, maybe before pawn takes d5.
Yeah, I mean, I knew I could do it. I wasn't sure. The thing is, if I take on d5, right, there's a chance he'll see that I can play dragon b5 check, and then he'll sack the pawn, which I think is just bad for him. But if I play dragon b5, obviously he has to go king e7, and then I take, and then he takes back with the queen. Okay, his king is obviously. I mean, it's very good for white.
So you just thought that okay, you give him the option of going west, and that's what he actually did.
Yeah, I mean, I prefer the pawn actually, because even I feel like it's a pawn for nothing basically.
Okay, interesting.
I feel like subsequently there was nothing much to. The rest was really quite painful for Daniel.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
I don't have anything to ask. I think.
I mean, I was down a pawn in the end game, and I also had the weak pawn in e6, which
exactly, and you were behind the development, and you had damage.
There wasn't much that really sort of like conjure up there.
Yeah.
When the dragons came up, I was pretty happy, but by that stage, I was down like a huge amount of material, so there was no real chance of even trying something.
Yeah, no, I think
at this stage, I'd be quite happy to sacrifice a pawn in the opening if I could just exchange all the dragon bishops.
It's a good idea that the position looked almost like a chess position at the beginning, that it relaxed you to feel like you're playing the.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely didn't see the check on b5. I think we've seen it happen as well before. I think Craig also missed something similar with the dragon b4 check against, I think it was...
Against Watu, I think. Yeah.
Watu, I think, yeah.
So, yeah, no, it seems to be something that all of us need to keep an eye out for is the early checks with the dragon bishop.
Yeah.
They cause chaos. But, yeah, I think we need to start with our break soon. We're going to take an hour break, a lunch break, early lunch break for everyone. Well done again to Henry. Tough one for Daniel. So I'll just update the scores verbally. So Craig is on 3.5 out of 4, and Henry now joins him in the lead with 3.5 out of 4 as well. And Watu is on 1 out of 4, and Daniel is still yet to join us on the scoreboard. And 2 more matches for everybody left, and it's the mini matches, guys. So we are going to see the 2 leaders fighting it out, Henry and Craig, on the same score, playing white and black against each other. And of course, the number 3 and number 4, Watu and Daniel will be fighting it out for number 3 and 4th positions. Watu having a point lead there on Daniel. But it's going to be interesting. Everybody has something to play for here. Of course, the prize money is also there, just to remind everybody. First prize is 5,000, second is 4,000, third is 3,000, and fourth is 2,000. So everybody's going home with something. And yeah, so yeah, I must just save this game here. But thanks, guys, for entertaining us. Interesting stuff. Thanks a lot to Ruben for joining us this morning. It was nice and early. So thanks again, Ruben. It's been wonderful having you on the show again. Hope to see you soon. Maybe we should do something on the ACL channel as well. Thanks so much, Ruben. And thanks, Henry and Daniel. We'll see you guys after the hour lunch break. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks,
Cheers.
Jordan. Cheers.
Bye.
Yes.